People still tell stories about him. In towns scattered across the dry plains, in saloons filled with smoke and half-truths, in quiet homes where children listen wide-eyed to tales of bravery, his name carries weight. They call him a hero, a man who faced danger without fear, who stood between the weak and those who would harm them, who rode into trouble when others ran the other way. But when people speak of him, they never speak of me. To them, I am just a footnote, a quiet woman standing somewhere behind the legend. What they don't understand is this. Before he became my husband, before he chose me, I didn't even believe a man like him could see someone like me. My name is Rose Carter, and this is the story no one ever tells. I first saw him on a day that felt like every other, hot, dry, and unforgiving. The town of Blackridge was restless that afternoon. Word had spread that a group of outlaws had been spotted nearby, and fear moved through the streets like a shadow. Shopkeepers closed early, mothers pulled their children inside, and even the saloon, usually loud and careless, seemed quieter than usual. I was at the edge of town, carrying a basket of laundry, trying not to draw attention to myself. That had always been my way. Stay quiet, stay invisible, survive. Then the sound came. Hoofbeats, strong, steady, unafraid. Everyone turned. He rode in like he belonged to the land itself, dust trailing behind him, hat low over his eyes, shoulders squared with a kind of quiet strength that made people step aside without being asked. Ethan Cole. I didn't know his name then, but I would come to learn it soon enough. The sheriff approached him first, relief clear on his face. "You came," he said. Ethan nodded once. "Heard you needed help." There was no pride in his voice, no need for attention. That's what struck me first. Men in this town liked to talk big. They liked to be seen. He didn't. He simply was. The trouble came fast. Before the sun had time to set, the outlaws rode in, loud, reckless, and dangerous. They tore through the town like a storm, shouting, threatening, breaking whatever stood in their way. I froze where I stood, my basket slipping from my hands as fear rooted me to the ground. People ran. I couldn't, and then suddenly he was there. Ethan stepped between me and the chaos without hesitation. "Get inside," he said, his voice calm but firm. I shook my head, unable to move. His eyes met mine for the first time. There was no fear in them, only certainty. "You're safe," he said. I didn't know why, but I believed him. What happened next felt like something out of a story told by firelight. Shots rang out, dust filled the air, and men shouted as chaos unfolded. But through it all, Ethan moved with purpose, controlled, steady, unshaken. And when it was over, the outlaws were gone. The town was safe, and he walked away like it was nothing. That should have been the end of it. Heroes don't stay. They pass through, leave behind stories, and disappear into the horizon. That's what I thought. But he didn't leave, not right away. Over the next few days, he stayed in Blackridge, helping repair the damage, speaking quietly with the sheriff, making sure the town would hold together after what had happened. And somehow, our paths kept crossing at the well, on the street, outside the general store. Each time, he nodded politely. Nothing more. And each time, my heart beat a little faster. It didn't make sense. Men like him didn't notice women like me. I was no one special. No grand story. No bold voice. Just someone who had learned to survive by staying small. The first time he spoke to me, really spoke, was unexpected. I was outside my small home, struggling to fix a broken fence, my hands clumsy and uncertain. It had been days since the attack, but life didn't pause for recovery. I didn't hear him approach. "Need a hand?" he asked. I turned, startled. "You don't have to," I began. "I know," he said simply, but he stayed anyway. We worked in silence at first, side by side, fixing what I couldn't manage alone. You handled yourself well, he said after a while. I frowned slightly. I didn't do anything. You stayed, he replied. That's something. I wasn't sure what to say to that. No one had ever called my fear strength before. From that day on, something shifted. He started coming by more often. Not every day, not in a way that would draw attention, but enough. We talked. At first about simple things, the weather, the town, the repairs still needed. Then slowly, about more, he told me about the road, about the places he had been, the people he had helped. I listened, not because he was a hero, but because when he spoke, he sounded like a man carrying more than just stories. There was weight there, quiet and steady, and I began to see something others didn't. He wasn't just strong, he was lonely. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky in golden fire, we sat on my porch in comfortable silence. You're not like the others, I said, without thinking. He glanced at me. How so? You don't look at people like they owe you something, I replied. He was quiet for a moment. Neither do you, he said. I laughed softly. That's because I've never had anything worth owing. He turned to face me fully then, his expression serious. That's not true. The way he said it made me believe him. But the town didn't see things the way he did, whispers started. People noticed him coming by. Not often, but enough. She's nothing special, I overheard one woman say. He could have anyone. Another added. I tried to ignore it. I had spent my whole life being overlooked. Being judged was nothing new. But this felt different, because for the first time, A.B. cared what someone thought, not the town, him. The night everything changed came quietly. There was no storm, no danger, no grand moment, just truth. He stood outside my home, his usual calm replaced with something uncertain. I'm leaving, he said. My chest tightened, though I had known it would come. Of course, I replied softly. You always do. He didn't answer right away. Then he said something I never expected. I want you to come with me. I blinked, certain I had misunderstood. What? Come with me, he repeated. Out there, away from all this. I shook my head, overwhelmed. Why would you ask me that? His answer came without hesitation. Because I chose you. The words hit harder than anything I had ever heard. You barely know me, I said. I know enough, he replied. I looked down, fear rising in my chest. I'm not the kind of woman people choose, I whispered. There it was. The truth I had carried my whole life. He stepped closer. You are to me. I didn't say yes right away. I couldn't. A lifetime of being overlooked doesn't disappear in a single moment, but he didn't rush me. He waited, and in that waiting, I found something I had never been given before. Time, space, choice. The next morning, as the sun rose over Blackridge, I stepped outside and found him where he had said he would be waiting. I took a deep breath. I've spent my whole life being told I don't matter, I said. He didn't interrupt. But you looked at me like I do. I met his eyes. And I don't want to lose that. His expression softened. So, is that a yes? I smiled, nervous, but certain, yes. We left that day, not as a hero and a nobody, but as two people choosing each other. The road ahead wasn't easy. It never is. But it was ours. And if you ask the people of Blackridge, they'll tell you a hero once passed through their town and saved them. What they won't tell you is this, that the hero of the Wild West didn't just save a town. He chose someone the world ignored, and in doing so, he changed her life forever.